Good evening, everyone, and welcome to F3. We are in Mexico. And we are way underway racing in one-shot qualifying. We've got 11 drivers on the grid today. Right, so who's going to be on pole for our sprint race? Charlie Gordon, Ronaldinho, Mark Anderson, Callum Morris, Kamil Bliźniewski, Matej. Where's the other terrorist? Alex, there he is. Yeast, the other Alex. Or Callum Ogden. Let's see. Is there even a way to keep a track of the other drivers? No, I don't think there is. Lap data. No, there's not. Okay. Well, we're seeing here Mark Anderson going through the tricky S section. And around the final few corners here, and we're going to see some times rapidly come in now as everyone finishes around the same. At the moment, it's looking like a Ronaldinho pole. It is a Ronaldinho pole as Axel Foley is disqualified. Mark Anderson can muster up a third position, as that is one-shot qualifying done for the sprint. And it's Ronaldinho on pole with a 1:14.435. Remember that, as he's half a second quicker than his title rival, Callum Morris. And we have a sprint race coming up now. Where is Mr. Lex Hod? He's not commented yet. Normally he's around the place. Hello, Jonathan. How are you? Hello, Daniel. Daniel, Satch, and Zeman. Good evening, everybody. No giveaway this evening. Anyway, 5 lights away. And we are away in racing in F3 in the Mystery Grand Prix. Where is Ronaldinho and Callum all season long? And that's a terrible camera angle. And it's a long run down to turn 1 here. And everyone looks to be keeping their position as Callum tugs in behind Ronaldinho there. It's a bit of a glitch in the game there. And everyone looks to get away quite safely. 12 laps for sprinters. Oh, and someone's gone. Andrei Feschenko is a gonzers. Is he in the wall? That's the question. Looks to be okay. There's Kamil making moves on Mark here for P4 on the track. Yeast and Axel Foley fighting further down the field in the Norris and Verstappen spot from last season, as the 2 title challengers are away from the rest of the pack by over a second already. I am good, Jonathan. It was a long week at work, but yes, we survived. We survived. It is what it is, though. Looking forward to being back in GT7 next Wednesday evening. And as we enter into our second lap now, momentarily, with Callum Morris and Kamil Bliźniewski, also known as Ronaldinho for simplicity's sake, leading the way. Charlie Gordon and Alex Theodore fighting. Alex, don't leave the lobby if you DNF. Ronaldinho naturally taking the fastest lap of the race as he's the first person to cross the start-finish line. DRS enabled. And just like that, Callum is up to P1. Is that a sensible move, though, without DRS? question here. As Matei's in P3. What's going on here? And Camel right on his coattails, and Mark Anderson almost coming into the back of Camel there. Yeast and Alex fighting. Alex is dropping like a stone because he's mowing the grass. Yellow flag, but no safety car just yet. It's the end of the season. Things begin to die down, and well, this is what kind of happens at the end of a game cycle. So the attendance does get a little bit worse, but we do have a title fight on the way, as Callum is our first driver of the day to pick up a track limit penalty. And Mark and Camel fighting. Now, Ronaldinho here is going to have DRS on a very, very long straight here. As the fastest lap times are dropping in rapidly. And here we do see Ronaldinho with the 8 of DRS. Remember, it is, I think it's a single detection point for all of these. I'm pretty sure it is. As just like that, Camel up to P1. And yep, it is a double detection. It is a single detection point. And he's up to P1, and he's going to keep the position, obviously. Further down the field, Yeast and Axel and Andre fighting. As you see Alex in the distance. Axel up to P6. As Andre and Mark now fighting as well, side by side with Macaulay Beard, one of the biggest trolls in Ero. You don't want to get into a cuss-off with him, as he's glitching all over the place, Mr. Beard. Mr. Yeast. Ronaldinho half a second ahead of his title rival for now. Matei 2 seconds off the pace at the moment. He needs to get a move on if he wants to catch up with this pack. If you're just tuning in, Ronaldinho, then Callum. That's the way it's been since the start of the race. Callum briefly taking the lead. And we are still away and racing here. Charlie Gordon nicely riding along in third. He's got a bit of company though in the McLaren. Camel, who's just been the solo McLaren driver all season, as Arwen Lewandowski decided not to drive this season after causing a bit of terrorism in the first few rounds. And further back up the field, we're not going to see him move for the lead just yet, as Callum really pushing track limits here as much as he can. However, he's not really gained all that much. I think he's getting about 2 or 3 tenths on that whole 2 DRS zones. Matei 2.5 seconds nearly away now. Charlie Gordon 1.5 seconds away. Camel and Axel though in pursuit. They've got a lot of drivers behind them as Callum Ogden into the pits. Let's have a look at the tyres and see what everybody's on. Everyone's in the mediums, naturally enough. Yes, Zeman, there's no penalty giveaway this evening. I still need to do that stupid giveaway. No penalty giveaway this evening. As Matei getting into it here. He's had a good second half of the season. I have to give him credit where credit's due. He picked up his pace and he got on with it. Yeah, it was good to see. You know, he kept it out of the wall, kept it out of other people's side pods, and yeah, he's had a decent second half. I'm very happy for him. Charlie Gordon, who's had a good season all around. I think the highlight of his season was Miami in that one-stop race where he pulled off, or that no-hards band race where he pulled off a beautiful one-stop strategy. Mark Anderson, who's had a great season in F5, is probably going to be the F5 champion unless some thunder strikes down his apartment or house next week and disconnects his internet. Andrei Feschenko, new addition to Ero this season, has been very, very solid. Axel Foley, crowd favourite. Yeast, another crowd favourite. Alex and Callum, you both know from seasons past. Mr. Morris, in his maiden season as well, is pushing on here, and he overtook Ronaldinho as I was talking a bit of shite. And Ronaldinho needs to get a move on. Camel, who's had a few episodes of bad luck this season, it must be said. Most notably last week in Spa, the Donator GP is very unlucky there as Alex get an next driver to get a 3-second time penalty. When tire deck starts to become heavy in this track, you can guarantee that there will be more penalties to follow. And Camel with DRS here, and he is fairly pushing along. Zeman, I hope the F5 race was good to commentate. It was quite stressful to drive in. And if I didn't get stupid penalties, I would have got P3 or P2. Anyway, as Ronaldinho has a good exit there. The exit 4. Let's turn 4? Something like that. Yeah, 4 or 5, whatever it is. And they're going through this little tricky section here. This was Sergio Perez and Liam Lawson were fighting last season. Where Lawson very famously gave Perez the middle finger, though that hasn't ended up all. I tell you, over 3 seconds off the lead between these two, having their own private battle. And Ronaldinho is gaining here. DRS wide open, as you can see there. He's not going to make a move, though, into this turn, surely. Into turn 12. No, elects to stay behind here. Probably going to charge his battery up for one assault. Oh, he is really charging that battery up. Both drivers have. He's got a long straight here to make the move if he wants, as they enter into lap 8. 7? Enter into lap 7, and here he comes. He's using a bit of battery, and Callum has tried to defend as best he could, and is unable to do so. Ronaldinho back up to P1. Further down the field, Andre and Yeast are fighting with a bit of side-by-side action into turn 1. Yeast keeping the position, though. Getting his elbows out against the Ukrainian, and the Polish man in pursuit. Axel Foley with a time penalty, so he's not really in this battle all too much. And he's leading this cohort of drivers nicely through these corners here. East probably should have been moved to F4. Well, we could have moved him to F4, but then he would have ran away with it. As Sparrow is trying to log into the Ero Discord, or not Discord, YouTube channel. Oh, I'm tired. It's a long week. Oh, Jesus. Ronaldinho still keeping this position. For now. Further down the field, Alex back into the pits. Camel been overtaken by Axel. Yeast still in P6. Mark Anderson in P5. He's on a bit of an island. As we're still trying to log Sparrow into the YouTube. The YouTube. I sound like my old man. As Andre and Camel both getting penalties, as Callum Ogden has DNF'd. He's retired in the pits. We are down to 10 in our sprint race. Ronaldinho is still leading the way. However, Callum is going to mount an assault here as we enter into lap 9 of 12. And here he comes sailing along the way. That's a very, very routine pass there. That's half the grid now has penalties. Charlie Gordon up to P3. He's fighting Matei into turn 1. He gets a DRS assisted overtake. There's going to be a lot of DRS assisted overtakes in this race. I can guarantee you that. As Ronaldinho nearly 7/10 behind Callum. That's quite a lot. And we still crack on here. with Callum leading the way. However, Ronaldinho is gaining. He's gaining with DRS. And again, these two swapping the position. Another routine pass here. And Matej is going to have to stay behind Mr. Gordon. He's got a penalty now, though, so it's not going to be much use to him. Has 6 drivers with a penalty so far out of 10. Maybe we should do another bloody giveaway this evening for the penalties. Whereas if Lex comments, I'll do a giveaway this evening. I'm not tagging him, I'm not letting him know, but if he comments, I'll do a giveaway. It's as simple as that. No Lex commenting, unfortunately. Okay. He has till the end of the sprint to comment. As these two, Callum almost dropping out of DRS range here. Charlie Gordon 5 seconds off the pace. Oh, he's a bit of a wobble there. Those mediums are obviously degged to some extent. Yeast only one without a penalty in the from 4 to 6. He could draw. Get a few positions here if he's clever about it. As Camel and Andre fighting further down the field before the DRS point. We're entering into the penultimate lap. Matej's gotten the move done with the assists of DRS. And these two still fighting it out, but Callum has dropped off the pace here. Maybe this is a preview for the main race. We'll see now momentarily, but now it's over a second difference. Callum losing time here to the Polishman, to his title rival. He's not going to have DRS on this last lap attempt, though, to get the overtake done, and he's dropping time rapidly. And there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. I think that's Andrei Feschenko. It is indeed. He's gone as we enter into the last lap of the race now. As Callum is gaining and gaining and gaining here. He doesn't have DRS. He just unloaded the whole battery. It's not going to be enough, though. Matej is in P3 on the track currently as Alex Theodore gets another time penalty. And Callum, just within that 1 second mark, hovering around it here as Matej has Charlie Gordon for company. He's going to get P4 and Charlie's going to get P3. And that is going to be all she wrote, folks, for this sprint race. Yeast gets past Mark Anderson for P5, which he was going to do anyway because of the penalty. Oh, as Charlie Gordon gets a 3 seconds. Now, why has he gone and done that? Now he needs to pass Matej in these last few corners. Ronaldinho will win the sprint race, setting down a marker for the rest of the field. But these two are going to be racing to the line. I don't think Charlie's got enough in him. He doesn't. Matej will snatch a podium in the sprint. Callum Morris will have to settle for second. Yeast will come home 5th. Charlie 4th. Mark trying to bin his card 6th. Axel Foley in 7th. Camel in 8th. And eventually Alex will finish in 9th. And that'll do it in the sprint. Ronaldinho in P1, Callum in P2. Yeast was given damage in lap 1, turn 2, according to him. Matei on the podium, and then Charlie Gordon settling for P4 after that unfortunate penalty right at the death there. Yeast in P5, Mark Anderson in P6, Axel in P7, Camel P8, Alex P9, and Andre and Callum both DNFing. Where is Max Jr. Brzezinski? And we're just going to wait for everyone to do one shot qualifying and then get on with the race. As Matei says he doesn't have a setup. So pole was a 1:14.4 in the one-shot quali for the sprint. Let's see what it's going to be for the race. Will there be much of a discrepancy? It was a 1:14.435 as far as I remember. As we will ride on board with our sprint race winner eventually. Oh, where is he? Mr. Ronaldinho on the run down to turn 1. DRS wide open here. Drops the car into 4th gear, into 3rd actually even, into turn 2 now. Oh, almost invalidates there. Well, it looked like a glitch or something in the game. Now, another straight here, DRS wide open from turns 5 to 6. In the Red Bull here. Now, you want to take loads of curb here. Into 7 now, and you have to be careful not to just drift out too wide now into 8 and 9 here. Tricky little spot here. Some people think that's an overtaking zone. I think they're absolutely mad. Now into the S's where Verstappen ran off Norris off the track this year. Round we go here into turn 11 now. You have to get a good exit and DRS wide open yet again. Keeping it nice and tight to that curb now. Pick your braking point and into turn 12 we go as Camel's retired from the session. Taking loads of curb there. Now a tricky stadium section here where you have to choose how much curb you want to be brave to take without unsettling the car. Around the final corners now. And what is it going to be for Campbell? It's going to be in the 14s again. It's going to be a 14.7. So not as quick as the one-shot qualifying in the sprint. And that will do qualifying for the race as Ronaldinho pips it. Charlie Gordon in P2, Callum in P3, Matei in P4, Callum in P5, Axel in P6, Yeast 7th, Camille 8th, Andre 9th, Alex in 10th, and Mark in 11th. P8 to P11 all did not qualify. Now a load of laps coming up now for this sprint race. So let's just do a little bit of calculations here. Callum is... well, he's quite a lot of points ahead of Camel actually. He's 24 points ahead. Because of last week in Canada, he gained 11 points, so... Camel needs a bit of a miracle this evening. the next two races. He needs definitely to win, and Callum just to not score half as many points. Anyway, we are racing in F3. Callum Ogden gets a drive-through. Does Callum Morris get one as well? We've got 3 drivers with penalties already. This is very interesting. Speaking of that miracle, 3 drivers do have a drive-through. Oh, there's absolute chaos here. Whoa, what is going on here? Camel needed a miracle, and he's after getting that, as Callum Morris has lost his front wing. Callum Ogden is in P1, but he's got a drive-through. Mark Anderson also in a drive-through. And Callum has let Ronaldinho pass. What is going on here? That was very strange. Andre into P3. Where is Charlie Gordon after qualifying in P2? He's all the way down in P7. So a bit of engineered chaos there by somebody. There'll definitely be reports after the race for that. As Charlie is going to make a move on Matei into turn 12. Oh, kind of runs Matei off the track, but it's okay as Matei comes right back at him into the stadium section. Camo right behind him. Obviously, medium hard is the optimal strategy here. As Ronaldinho is away over a second on the rest of the field. Let's have a look at the tyres. Everyone in the mediums, DRS wide open. And Callum and Mark, both Callums and Mark, into the pits. Serving drive-thrus and everything else. What a weird start to the race. As we enter into laps 36. I'm going to order my dinner. Where is Lex Hod? What a wild start to the race that was, though. Further down the field, Yeast riding in P4, and he's got Charlie Gordon right on his coattails as they go through the S's. Ronaldinho is setting the fastest lap of the race. And Charlie Gordon here getting very close to Yeast. They're gonna go side by side into turn 1. No damage, please, lads. Keeping it very clean. Charlie gets the move done. Certain drivers you can trust in your tier. You gotta figure out who they are early in the start of the season. And these two definitely some of the cleaner drivers in the Ero. Camo very close to the back of Matei here. He's got to be careful not to get wing damage. Callum into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty, which is just bonkers, really, to be honest. One of the stranger things I've seen here. Well, if there's no safety car now, this really falls into Campbell's hands. Ronaldinho pumping in the lap times here. As Matei and Camo fighting for P6 on the track as they go side by side in the stadium section. Lovely view of this here. Camo just edges it out there ahead for now. Is Charlie Gordon with the fastest lap of the race. He's on a tear after a poor start. Yes. As we're over 10% of the way through this race already. Ronaldinho nearly 1.5 seconds clear of Andrei Feschenko, who's in P2 at the moment. Charlie Gordon riding with DRS wide open on Alex Theodore in P3. And Yeast hanging around as well, as Andre is our first driver of the race to get a 3-second time penalty for track limits. This race will not be half as long as Abu Dhabi was in F5. That was over an hour long. Side by side. We're going to see some action now in a second here, as Charlie looking to claim another victim into turn 12, but doesn't do so this time. He's going to have to ride behind Alex just a little while longer. Now 2 seconds is the lead between Camel and Andre. I think Alex is in a bit of trouble here, as Charlie is going to look to get this move done with DRS. Yeast also lurking in the shadows. And Charlie back up to P3. He's on a tear after a 4-star, dropping down quite a few positions. And Yeast almost going into the back of Alex there. He has to be very careful. Matei arriving on the scene. He's still got Camel for company. Callum, 36 seconds off Mark Anderson. And he's on those slower tyres as well. As disastrous start for our championship leader. It's just not gone his way so far this race weekend, as Yeast and Alex finally battling on the track. And Alex keeping that tight line yet again, trying to break the toe as best he can. And just like that, Yeast up to P4. He's on a tear as well, as Alex just tickling the back of his gearbox. Again, Alex has to be careful here not to get any damage to his car and not to kill Yeast in the process. Charlie closing in on Andre though. Charlie really closing in on Andre here. He's just going to have to stay behind him just a little while longer, and this just falls into Ronaldinho's plan here. Over 3 seconds clear now. Not making a move into turn 12, being sensible about it. And just like that, Charlie Gordon is up into P2. Another DRS assisted overtake on this track. Camel closing in on Alex. Theodore. And Mache in hot pursuit as well. Further back, the back of the field, Callum Morris still miles behind, unfortunately. Hasn't really eaten into any time yet. Those hard tyres haven't come alive versus the mediums. Really unfortunate start to the race for him. He needs a safety car to get back into this. And Ronaldinho just cruising on easy street here. As Alex Theodore is our second driver of the evening to get a track limit penalty. Exceeding track limits 3 times gets you a penalty. As we have action as Camel and Alex fighting into turn 12. Matei right behind them as well, as long as also Alex Courtois, Mr. Axel Foley, as they go around the final few corners here. Mark and Callum fighting into turn 12 as well. And Alex is going to get past Camel, and so is Matei. And just like that, the 2 V-carbs getting past the McLaren with the Red Bull in hot pursuit. Everyone's got DRS apart from Camel. So he's going to be the driver at risk here. Maybe Alex is going to have a look at him. He is going to have a look at him into turn 6. Does he get the move to stick? He does. That's kind of the unfortunate nature of not having DRS. But here comes Callum into 8 and 9, or Camille into 8 and 9. Beautiful move there. Axel gives him a lot of space. Fair play to him there. It was good racing between the two of them. Now Alex has got to follow along here. Further back up the field, Charlie Gordon is in P2, still over 3 seconds away from Mr. Ronaldinho. Callum Ogden with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Mark Anderson also with a 3-second penalty for track limits. As these two battling further down the pack for P9 on the track. Mark really making his own track limits there. As now the gap is dwindling ever so slightly. Charlie has used all his battery. Less than 3 seconds in it. And Mark Anderson now into the pits. First to our medium runners to pit. And he sticks on the hard tyres. Interesting. Will that trigger a cascade of drivers pitting? Is he trying a big undercut here? The medium's just cooked after 9 laps. Or 8 laps even. But so far it has been all Ronaldinho up to this point. And no one's really matched him for pace. Camille and Axel fighting there, or Alex fighting yet again into the stadium section between these two. Camille edging out just for now, but Alex is going to have DRS as a result of that, and he's already coming back at the Volishman. And these two going at it tooth and nail here as Alex gets the strangest track limit penalty I've ever seen. And he has DRS into turn 1. Callum Ogden into the pits. Andrei Feschenko with DRS on Yeast, who's riding in P3 at the moment. He's having quietly a solid race. But we end up at the commentators. Kirsten and Matei riding in P5, Axel in P6. Everyone must be sniffing the idea of a podium today. It's definitely on for everyone. Callum is slowly starting to eat into that time differential between himself and the drivers ahead. Very slowly, as they've started to pit now, but the real difference we care about is the time between himself and the leader, which is 59 seconds at the moment. Matei and Axel flying into turn 12. Side by side into the stadium section they go. Beautiful part of this track it is, as we're nearly at 1/3 race distance. Andrei Feschenko into the pits to get rid of those icky mediums. He was just behind Yeast by 2.5 seconds. Will he be able to undercut him? That is the question. Alex is gone. Does that bring out the safety car though? No, it does not. Interesting. Well, he's retired in the pits, but why is he retired? Our first driver of today, our first loss of today, should I say. And no chaos seems to be emerging from that at the moment. As Yeast is actually making some headway on Charlie Gordon here, who's dropping off the pace ever so slightly more to Camille, sorry. 4 seconds nearly is the difference. And you see Axel and Matei here fighting alongside each other. Matei's going to have a big helping of DRS momentarily. He's going to be the only driver on the track with DRS. So he's going to have to make the most of that. An extra 20 or so kilometers an hour that it does bring you. Will he get the move done into turn 1? He is using. And DRS is wide open here, and you just see how powerful it is on this track. 4/10 easily gained just like that. And the biggest issue for the driver who doesn't have DRS is that there's another helping a DRS coming. Oh, tennis. We literally just rode on board with that. There was no escaping that there. It was a slam dunk penalty. And Camel is still riding in P6. Oh, I pressed the wrong button in Discord. As we are officially 1/3 of the way through this race. As Ronaldinho into the pits. Charlie Gordon also into the pits. Yeast stays out. Interesting. This is a bit of a questionable release there. As both drivers electing to stick on the hard tyres, no surprise there whatsoever. Now, what does Camel do? He stays out as well. So, we've got 4 drivers now still on the original set of tyres. Safety car. Does a safety car really benefit them at this point? A safety car benefits one person, and that is Mr. Callum Morris. He's going to have to pit in about 10 laps time, I'd say, maybe a little bit longer. He's just not having a great race so far. As we're riding on board with Camel now, everyone's kind of a bit spruced out. Matei and Axel will be fighting, but that's just about it. Ronaldinho now is already on the back of Camel here. And has Charlie gained a bit of time on him? That's the question. Not really. Matei finally into the pits. Next driver to get rid of those icky mediums. I think the rest of them are just holding on for a safety car at this point, as we're into lap 14 of 36. Camel being hunted by Ronaldinho, and the Red Bull does overtake the McLaren into turn 1. Matei coming out P7. Is it going to be P8? He is going to be P8. Mark Anderson undercutting him there with those faster, with those fresher tyres. The old mediums are going to cost these guys in the front a lot of time. And if it stands like this, Ronaldinho will win this race, obviously, but title-wise, what are we looking at now? So, if we just go up here to the point system. So Ronaldinho won the sprint and he got pole. That's 9 points. That's a +2. But he's going to need to do a lot better than that if he wins the race and Callum finishes in 10th, as Ronaldinho does hit the fastest lap of the race, but in the 1:17s now. If he wins the race and sets fastest lap and Callum comes 10th, he'll have gained 12 points on him, as Callum Ogden with a 3-second time penalty. So it will be doable going into the last race of the season, but Callum would need to have a shocker of a final race. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Callum is in P10, and that's based on the fact that Callum doesn't, nobody else DNFs in front of Callum. And Yeast still leading the way here with his 14-lap-old mediums. As we are about to enter into lap 16 of 36. Charlie and Camel fighting now. as Yeast finally pits, as Ronaldinho will take the lead back of this race. Axel Foley with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. And Yeast out of the pits now and into P5. He's going to want to build on that. He went a bit too long on those hards, on those mediums maybe. And Campbell is really going to suffer when he pits as well. So Ronaldinho 4.5 seconds clear at the moment. Campbell in P3. Well, he's on 15 lap old mediums. He needs to pit soon. He's hoping for a safety car, which doesn't usually happen all that often around here, as far as I remember. It's quite a wide track, isn't it? So, yeah. And Mark Anderson in P6, Axel in P7, Matei in P8, Callum Ogden in P9, and Callum Morris still in P10. Ronaldinho still leading the way. Now 4.5 seconds, 4 3/4 of a second clear. As we enter into lap 17 of 36. As Alex Theodore said, the wear on the rears was unreal. Campbell into the pits now, finally getting rid of those mediums, and he sticks on the hard tyres. So, just 4 drivers without a penalty at the moment. Is it 4 or 5? 5 drivers. So half the grid with a penalty. No, it is 4. No, it's 5. With a penalty. We're just about to approach half race distance as Ronaldinho is going through the S's here. The top 3 spruced out by over 12 seconds. The top 4 spruced out by nearly 20 seconds. Top 5, sorry. So some big deltas forming here. Yeast on an island of his own here, 13.5 seconds away from the leader. Andre is less than 10, but speaking of Andre, he's after getting another 3-second time penalty. And Charlie, 5 seconds clear now. Or away from Camo. It's Nay Bueno. As he goes into turn 1. There's not really a whole lot to talk about in this race, to be honest. There wasn't all that many drivers to start off with. We only had 11, and then this track isn't exactly known for its action and spice. We did a reverse grid race here last season, I think it was, and that was absolute chaos. It was good fun. It was indeed good fun. Some people don't really like the reverse grid races. I think they're great. It gives the guys at the back a chance to shine, and the guys at the front have to fight their way through, and anything can happen in those cases. Always adds a bit of spice to it to the end of the season. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2, and that looks like Callum Ogden. And he's doing some spinneroonies. At this point, usually Callum does something questionable, and we all say, well, is he just trying to cause a safety car or something, or is he retiring or whatever? But let's ride on board with Callum and see what he does here. Nothing too questionable for now. As he goes through the stadium section, and Callum Morris right on the back of him. And Callum is into the pits as he gets a 10-second time penalty as well for speeding in the pits. Is that his evening done? That is the question. As Ronaldinho now 5.5 seconds clear as we're into lap 19 of 36, and for some reason Callum has put on these soft tyres. You see he's going through turn 12 here, entering into the beautiful aforementioned stadium section. Anything really happening on the track at this point? Not really. Axel's got DRS, and let's just see what happens there. There's really not a lot to talk about in this race. This is a difficult one to commentate, guys. As Matei had DRS there, and now Callum is making a charge up the field. He's back up to P9. As Mark Anderson gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Matei is fighting now with Mark Anderson and Axel. We finally got some action on the track again now, as there's 3 drivers close enough to each other. Matei is going to go for a move here into turn 6 on Mark, but Mark manages to keep the position. Axel waiting in the wings for any chaos. Matei gets a 3-second time penalty for going off the track. And that is the end of that little skirmish for now. Mark will keep the position. Callum setting the fastest lap of the race. That's going to upscuttle Ronaldinho's plans. Interestingly enough, he needs those championship points more than ever. As Callum gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Callum back into the pits again. As we enter into lap 23 of 36, 7.5 seconds separates P1 from P2. As Axel and Mark fighting, well, no, Mark just went into the pits. Axel setting the fastest sector 1 out of anybody. So lap time's beginning to drop here. And this is a... Well, this is interesting, I suppose. The Axel and Matei are going to be fighting, as the grid is quietly dispersed out. Just about 13 laps to go now. 1/3 of the race, or just under 1/3. Charlie Gordon still 7 seconds away, and Andrei Faschenko 6 seconds away. But he's got yeast for company and a few time penalties to go with it. 6 seconds at the moment. This looks like a yeast podium. Callum Morris is closing in on Mark Anderson, who's got 6 seconds of penalties. So Callum does probably have to pit again. Andre drifting around those S's there. On the exit of turn 11. Doesn't want to lose the car. Into turn 12 he goes. And Ronaldinho has just driven such a consistent race this evening. Set the fastest lap of anybody not on the softs. And just like that, he's pushing on and on and on. And Yeast is gaining on Andre. These two are going to start fighting in just a second. Matei and Axel are fighting as well, as Mark Anderson gets another 3-second time penalty. Yeast finally getting past Andre into turn 6. But here comes Andre. Andre's a bit of a wobble there from the dirty air. That's going to cost him a bit of time, but he seems to be okay. He has to stay behind the Englishman now for the next sector and a half, so he can use DRS on the long straight. And going through the S's here, you can see the dirty air causing a bit of trouble as Callum gets a 3-second time penalty. Andre goes a mile off the track. And into the stadium section, these two go. As Andre gets another 3-second time penalty. Goes from bad to worse for the Ukrainian. He is going to have DRS on Yeast though. Half a second away. Will that be that powerful? That is the question. Gaining. He's gained over 3/10 so far. He's gained 4/10. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? He is. Side by side they go. Yeast keeps the position for now. Yellow flag in sector 3 as Mark Anderson's gone. That's a VSC. Wow. Okay, and if you are Callum Morris, you are kicking yourself right now that is not a full course safety car. Oh, it's Andre. Spears into Yeast under VSC. What was that? Just missed his braking point there. What is going on here? Just respect the Delta boys. Andre wanting to get on with it nice and early. Doesn't want to waste any time. And now we're under racing again. Andre staying within DRS of Yeast. He's got those 5-lap older hard tyres. And is Yeast going to make a run here on the younger hards? It's going to make that much of a difference. 6 seconds away from Charlie. And these two battling yet again as Andre gets past Macaulay For P3 on the track into turn 1, and he will have another helping of DRS here. He's staying with him. Are they going to go side by side? Well, it gives him a bit of space. Fair play to him there. But he's just not close enough to make the move, nor make it stick. Oh, but here we go into turns 8 and 9. Andre kind of, well, he just about hangs it around the outside there. And they're still going to go side by side. No, they're not. Andre gives up the move for now. Macaulay back up to P3 on the track. As Callum Ogden with another 3-second time penalty. Into turn 12. Jesus, East goes wide there. Does well to keep it within track limits. And he's going to have Mr. Kawasaki champion right on his tail now in just a second. And I dropped my phone. Just 9 laps to go in this race. Who will be on the podium, I suppose? We know who's going to win this race at this point, unless something dramatic happens. As Andre electing not to make the move there with DRS into turn 6. He's keeping the position yet again. Matej and Axel fighting. They've had quite a few battles all race long. Now Andre into the pits. He gets rid of those hard tires. Interesting. Is there another pit stop here for everybody? What does Andre go on to, the mediums or the softs? He elects to go on to the mediums. Does that trigger a cascade of pitting now? Because he's going to have such a tire differential. And if they do pit, he's going to undercut them massively. So I think they don't really have a choice but to stay out here. Well, in the next lap or two, you've got to decide pretty quickly. Does this trigger Ronaldinho to pit or Charlie Gordon? As these two, Axel and Matej, still close to one another, as they have been for the last 10 or so laps. No, Ronaldinho, Charlie, Yeast. Oh, Yeast with a 3-second time penalty. How crucial is that going to be towards the end of the race? Everyone electing to stay out. Let's see. Andre currently 36 seconds away from Ronaldinho. He's gaining a lot of time there. He's gained over a tenth in one corner. He's gained 2 tenths in one corner. So the medium's definitely more powerful. He's gained nearly half a second in one corner. But where is he going to end up here? Because Camel doesn't have a penalty. And the driver's ahead. Well, Yeast is now 21 seconds up the road. Charlie Gordon 9 seconds away now from Camel. This is a dominant display by the Polishman. He needed this a few rounds ago, I think. And he would have really been back in the contention for the title. Axel and Matej still battling along with DRS for the Greekman. As Camel approaching Mr. Callum Ogden to lap him, I think for the second time. As Andrei Feschenko setting the fastest lap of the race. Interesting. Matej with another 3-second time penalty. That doesn't do him any favours. There's Axel Foley right there with him. Now, 9.5 seconds is the difference between these two. Between Camel and Charlie. We've just got 5 laps to go here now. Still quite a bit of time here as Camel and Andre are fighting. And the ghosted car of Callum Ogden also getting involved. We did say it was 36 seconds. It's now down to 33.5. Now, where will Axel and Matej finish at the end of this race? These two have been battling for some time, and no move has just been made as of yet. Axel holding up all that battery, and Matej is copped on, he's doing the same. For one main attack at the end, they both have the same amount of penalties? They do not. Matej's got 9 seconds. This is a yellow flag in Sector 2, and that's Callum Ogden off the track. In a similar spot where he lost the car already. 10 seconds now separates Ronaldinho from Charlie Gordon. And Callum with another 3-second time penalty to bring it up to 24 seconds of track limit penalties for this race. And there's a VSC. Callum's retired from the session. He's had enough. VSC. It doesn't really do Callum Morris any favours. He would have ordered a full course safety car. And he would have jumped up loads of positions. There's a questionable pit entry there, but anyway. Callum into the pits. I think he's going to try and nick fastest lap here. Ronaldinho is coming up to him here. His title challenger is going to lap him. Wow. Well, what a statement that is there. Lapping your rival. That's just 3 laps to go now. We're into lap 34 of 36. The top 2 are definitely decided, but who will win between these two? Is Matej and Axel Foley going side by side down the main straight. Matej with DRS and Alex not with DRS. So he's got a bit of work to do if he wants to get away from Axel. Camel currently riding in 7. He's had a quiet race. Callum hasn't had the best of races. Andre's been, well, he did a strange pitting strategy there. I don't know why he did that. Axel and Matej have been fighting all race long. Yeast has kind of been on an island since he was battling Andre until Andre pit. And Charlie's also been quite quiet all race long, and along with Ronaldinho, has just been consistently quicker than everybody else on the track. He's 10 seconds clear of the field. Matei with another 3 seconds, that brings him up to 12 seconds of track limit penalties. As we're into the penultimate lap here, and Ronaldinho cruising along into turn 12 for the second last time. Charlie Gordon 10 seconds away, but he's had a very, very stellar and solid race. Yeast is closing in on Charlie, though he's just running out of time, I feel. Callum Morris with the fastest lap of the race. He's going to nick an extra point for the championship here. That's going to be crucial come the business end of the season, which is the next race. And we enter into the final lap, and Yeast is really gaining on Charlie here. He's getting loads of time. Is he just using a lot more battery? Does he have a fresher set of tyres? Not really. Maybe he's just finally figured out this track. And for the last time into turn 12, again with his title rival just behind him. As he goes through the stadium section, you can see the smoke and the fireworks. Kamil Plizhakinski, Mr. Ronaldinho, will do Fat Ronaldo proud as now here this evening and win the Mystery GP in F3. The title fight is well and thoroughly alive here, going into the final race of the season. Charlie Gordon will take second in what was a stellar proceeding from him. Yeast in third. Matei, was Matei going to take fourth? No. Matei will take sixth, maybe fifth. He'll take fifth. Axel Foley in fourth, that's probably his best result of the season. Andrei Feschenko in sixth. Kamil, our next driver, or last driver to cross the line. And that will do it in what was an enthralling race in F3. Bit of action would have been nice. Yeast on the podium. Congratulations to you, Alex. Of course, while Mr. Axel Foley delighted with his P4. But title fight well and thoroughly on for next week. Ronaldinho in P1. Charlie Gordon in P2. We're just going to get the race director very, very quickly. There was a lot of jump starts. 3 drivers with jump starts. The race director has been gotten there. As we said, Ronaldinho P1, Charlie P2, Yeast P3, Axel P4, Matei in P5, Andre in P6, Kamil in P7, and then Callum Morris, our championship leader, in P8. F2 is live tomorrow night and F1, both mystery tracks. Where will we end up is a good question there. F4 we're in Bahrain, F5 was in Abu Dhabi, so we will see where we are tomorrow in F2. Have a lovely weekend if we don't see you, and good night.